Hey, so today I got a bit of mail from Warlord Games, and they sent me the Bolt Action Starter Kit, the starter pack, for a review on this channel. So today I'm going to open it, and I'm going to give you my initial thoughts about the starter kit here. The first thing I want to say here is the backside says collect, build, paint, and play. So, if this is a true starter kit, you should be able to do all of that just via this one box, which I would be very surprised if you could, but we shall see. This idea, of course, has been it's always been in the industry, right? A game in a box, right? Games Workshop had done it multiple times with many of their games where you could buy one set and just have it be that one set you needed. And it is called the introductionary set. Not that I need an introduction to Bolt Action, it's just but it's still interesting for someone like me to look over it, right, and see what do we actually get in this box. The box is fairly heavy, I have to say, so there should be, that's a nice one. You start here, so open this. Right, so that's one, and then pull up. Okay, so there's an extra box inside the box. Right. And as always, with Warlord, you get a little, this was packed by, and questions, info, whatever. Customer service. So, what do we actually see in the box? Right now, I'm seeing sprues, I'm seeing a small bag of dice, I'm seeing a nice little felt dice bag. So, the dice bag is small-ish. I struggle to get my hand in that. So for me, this is for carrying your dice in. It's not really for anything else. But you can, put down two fingers, grab a dice. So it wouldn't be suitable once you get into real games, but it is possibly suitable for what it needs to do with the introductionary set here. The introduction set has two colors of dice. It's got the, I'm red-green colorblind, so I think these are green, and then a gray one. So, allies and axes, it's got a couple of just standard D6s. All very useful. It looks like this is supposed to set you up for a game with 6 units, 3 per side. Perfect for an introduction game, by the way. Perfect. Then we have, this is fairly well known in the community, right? This is the Ruined Hamlet sprues. It's got 2 of those. If you use these cleverly, this is enough to set you up with several pieces of terrain, but you can also just build them into like one large piece or whatever. But you can assemble these in several different ways. So very nice. Do I think 3 to 4 pieces of terrain is enough for a small game? Yes, but only if you minimize the play area quite a lot. I think this is supposed to be on a very, very small table. But that can be fun as well. Then we've got a couple of sprues of soldiers. Got a couple of extra sprues of bases. Always nice. For an introduction, I don't think, like, if you're new to the hobby here, if this is your first buy, just assemble these, right? Just clicking these off the sprues with a pair of nail clippers or whatever, and then just gluing all this together is enough of a challenge. Don't paint them, don't do the bases yet. All of that can come later. Just assemble this, have it all be grey, you'll do fine. Right, so what do we have? We have a sprue of Americans. These are the new sprues, I think, yeah. They are the new Army sprues, or are they Ranger sprues? No, it's the new US Ranger sprues. They're really nice, I have to say. Like the rifle arms. Always useful to have a couple of guys with rifles and stuff. There's a bazooka here, loader for that. It's even got a couple of hatchets if you need something to set on your engineers, separate them from the regular guys, whatever. It's got a machine gun here, Thompson. Nice, I like him. Lots of little things you can add to your minis to give them extra. Maybe I think they've really upped the ante on the faces here. The faces on these sprues are really good. I'm not a massive fan of the old US sprues, but these are much better. Much better. So you get 2 sprues of Americans, so that is a total of 6, 12 guys. Okay, 12 guys, that's not really 3 units, is it? Unless you make 2 small units and have 1 officer. You could. And then we get a couple of sprues of the this is German Grenadiers. These are also new sprues. So you get the STGs for a couple of them, more than a couple actually. You could build all STGs for these. There's even a Soviet, I don't know if you can see that. This one, that's a Soviet SMG, right? This is a German one. There's a Panzerfaust here. They look like some of them are in winter gear. They have these overcoats on some of them. I don't know what those are called. Someone will tell me in the comments, I guess. And the faces, a little more like the old style faces here. You can build them with helmets. There's an officer with an officer's cap, and there's a few of the felt, what are they called? Feldmusen? I'm not sure. Anywho, so, and again, we've got 2 sprues, 12 guys, enough for 2 5-man units and 1 officer team. And we've got a whole extra sprue of these. Now, there are way too many of these, right? Because 10, 20, this is enough. And I've already, there's extra on some of the sprues here, and there's 2 extra. So, way too many of the bases. I'm not sure what that is for, though. Right. Then, call for reinforcements. Add some armored support. Ready for the full rules. Right. So there's a little bit of add. And there's even, so you can sign up and get a scenario and sign up for a newsletter. Then, one of the things that they're cutting out here, obviously, is there's no vehicles. There's no, because you get 12 models per side. But for a full game of bolt action, you need a lot of other stuff. So what they've done here is they've made this. Right, you have a 6-inch ruler here, which is basically all you need. You have a cardboard cutout of a Hanomag, which is not massively helpful, but you know, in a pinch if you're just trying out the game. And then you get pin markers as these cardboard pin markers, even including an immobilized marker. Nice. This ruler is actually kind of useful, but for small games you're not going to be measuring. And look at this. This is the designated play area. How much is this? This is a miniature map. I'll tell you that much. What is that? 36 by 24, I think. So that's the size of the game that they're envisioning for a starter game here. I actually kind of like it. It will teach you many of the core mechanics just playing on this very small area. Although I predict that with a few foldings and unfoldings, this is not mouse pad material. This is just reinforced paper. This will die very quickly, but this is intended for you to learn the game. It's not intended as a continual play area. So I think this can be enough, but you know. And then there is a manual. So the field manual here has 67 pages. A lot of it here, there's the hobby. So there's like 6 pages of hobby. There's 6 pages of background, World War II background. Then there is a couple of pages of how to build the miniatures. Nice. Then there's something about pickup games, narrative play, and competitive play. I think we should go and look at that in a minute. Then there's how to play, the turn sequence. So they've condensed the rules basically down to 6 pages. Very nice. And then there's a couple of missions. Missions with a sprue guide. I don't understand that. There's even painting guides here. So a couple of pages of painting guides. And then there are pages on how to grow, how to do that from then. I like it. This is an instruction manual for people who are just starting out in the hobby, basically. There's even pages on other nations you could play. Interesting. Game tables. There's a couple of pages on that. Right. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to go and see what they write about the different types of games. Page 16. Oh, and by the way, as always, Warlord does do a lot of wonderful fluff. Right. So, here we have it. Pickup games. Pickup games are probably the most common and certainly the simplest way to play bolt action. Yes. Go to your local store and ask, does anybody want a game? Yeah. No 2 games are the same. Yes. So this is a little bit of information about what types of games you actually can get. And looking at the images next to that, I recognize some of the people there. So some of the images here are from different tournaments. Then there are narrative games, and they write here, narrative games are games in which players look to recreate specific battles from World War II, often linked together in mega games or campaigns. Yes, perfect. And then competitive play. Competitive play is aimed at players who want to test their mettle in head-to-head tournaments. Me. Competitive armies often look very different from their historical counterparts and are finely tuned to performance on the tabletop. Tournaments are designed to provide fun and challenging gameplay. Yeah, True. All of it. And then they go into how to play, and they have the turn sequence here. The order dice are explained, which is the main part, right? I have a nice picture here. Order dice next to it. What pin markers are, the basic concept, rolling the dice, line of sight. And it's all condensed down to like 2 pages. And then missions. Missions are, by the way, they take up most, which I don't necessarily get. They have missions here, but then they have a sprue guide. That's weird. And it does continue. First contact. The mission introduces you to the core of bolt action, movement, and shooting. Okay? You set up, you have all that, but you still have the sprue guide. So that's a little weird. Defensive positions, rolling dice, American models, more American models. Yeah. Pinned down. I like it that they've developed missions specifically for this. So if we go down to mission 4 here, we're pinned down, sir. That's the mission. Both players have 2 units of 3 men armed with rifles. Use the rifleman models already built for the previous missions. So that's why they have it. You built your models specifically for the missions. Clever. The German player has to construct 1 extra rifleman for his side. Okay. Setup. The player sets up their units as shown on the map. They set up the units here. Pin markers. So some of them have pins. The objective of the mission is twofold. Both players must rally their pin unit and destroy the enemy units. One player draws a random die, blah, blah, blah. So, basically, they're setting up very, very small interactions here of just a couple of units, and this has happened, and one of them is pinned, and they need to do that. Mission number 3 teaches you how to do close combat, which is really deadly. Mission number 2 teaches you about defensive positions. So the missions here are designed to teach you about different situations in a normal game of bolt action. I love that. That is a brilliant piece of idea. Whoever came up with that in Warlord Games, that is just so good. So good. Well written, well-rounded, and it's really for the very, very first introductions into bolt action. That's it. Oh, and then they move into the main, so once you expand, then you move on to full gaming tables here, right? And they have this lovely table that was made by Geek Gaming. I think he's called Geek Gaming. I know it's in Nottingham somewhere. The gaming table. It's like the prettiest table there is, and they explain a lot of the terms scatter terrain and blah blah. It's really good. I like it. Store Finder. They have this a lot of lovely images of the different units. Look, there's a image of the new Italian black shirts. They're looking flashy. Right. So, what do I think of this? I think for an absolute beginner, this is a really, really good place to start. I have myself made a beginner's guide, but if you don't have anyone there to help you into the hobby, it's really difficult, right? This has condensed the tabletop experience into a little box, and it will teach you step by step what to do with the different things. For the missions, right, it even picks out, take this model, use that arm, take that model, use this arm, and just put them together, glue them together. And that's really clever, because it really slowly talks you through the different aspects of this hobby, which I know can be daunting. I mean, my game room here is filled with 30 odd years of gameplay, of different systems, of thousands of miniatures and different ranges and companies, and I know how to start this hobby. But this, it really tells you in a box how to do that. That is a brilliant idea. Will it sell a lot? I'm not sure, but I am seeing here with V3 a lot of new players starting in the hobby. So if you don't have anyone close to you that can introduce you, this is an absolute godsend. Even if you have someone that can introduce you, this is a slow, easy way of doing it. If you have children, this is an easy way of introducing them to the hobby as well. Maybe even the best way of doing that. Because it boils the game down to very simple, very small interactions that can be won or lost in, I would say, 15 minutes. It's not like a full game of Bolt Action will take you hours, right? But this, a game of this starter set Bolt Action, that will take you 10-15 minutes. Even for a beginner, once you have assembled the models, it's really easy from then on to do it. So I think it's a clever idea. I really hope it kicks off, and I really hope it helps you guys. If you're beginning in this hobby, I will link in the description for this video for where to get this set. Warlord Games' homepage, and it says playtime 30 to 60 minutes per session. I think you can do with way less than that. It's not a game that takes long. It does take some time to set up, but not massive amounts. It's the prep time of building the miniatures. Once you have done that, you're good to go. Don't start out by painting them, and especially because you can't paint them just based on this box, right? There's no paints here, there's no brushes, there's nothing you need for that. Just assemble them. Assemble them as the instructions for the missions tells you, and you should be good to go. Right. Thank you, Warlord Games, and good luck to anyone starting out. If you're new, give a shout out in the comments. Cheers.